Good afternoon, everybody. Craig DeLeo here. And I'm actually going to, and I know a lot of people aren't going to like this answer, I'm actually at this moment going to praise President Trump. And I'm going to say this for this way and this way only. I do not generally agree with Mr. Trump, and that's absolutely fine. But I will say there's a lot of things he does and says that scare me, and there's a lot of things I don't agree with him on. But that's absolutely the nature of politics and the nature of our government. You're allowed to do that. However, in this case, I'm actually going to agree with him on some of his international policies. Today, and I haven't looked at what the outcomes of the meeting he had with the politicians of South Africa. But I will say, when it comes to some of our international wheelings and dealings recently, I will say that I do agree with some of his policies when it comes to some of our international wheelings and dealings recently. When it comes to Ukraine, Russia, and this conflict that's been going on now for way too long, I kind of a little bit agree with him. This Ukrainian conflict, as well as a different conflict, our conflict in Israel and with South Africa. These are kind of things I do agree with him on. And when it comes to South Africa has been a quagmire for the last, I want to say, over 2 decades. This is a very racially charged area of the world, and it is a quagmire. So I'll leave it at that. It is very difficult. It was a difficult time during the apartheid, and it's become a difficult area of the world after the apartheid. And as a someone who has British ties, I will say that it is a very difficult area in the world. Now, and I'll leave it at that. And I'm not going to go into the international wheeling dealings of that, and I'm going to leave South Africa to South Africa. Now, when it comes to the Ukraine-Russia conflict, now, do I believe there's a lot of wrong going on there? Absolutely. I do believe that in the Ukraine-Russia conflict, I definitely feel that Russia is in the wrong. Now, the problem is this is a conflict that isn't going to. I don't feel there's a good end to this conflict, sadly. And I feel that the answer when it comes to the West Bank and Israel, I also don't think there's a good end to that conflict either. But when it comes to Russia, Ukraine, there's not an end to this conflict. I feel that when it comes to, I believe it was Marco Rubio that actually said it, Russia wants more than what it deserves and what it wants. And Ukraine can't get back what it's already lost. They don't have the military might in order to get back what it's already lost, and they're not going to stop fighting until they can get back everything they've lost. So there's not a good out there for Ukraine. There's anyone who's backs Ukraine. There's not a good out there. So, in my opinion, there's no good end there. Now, the only way we can actually end this conflict is to literally try to get both sides to come to the table. And the problem is there is no good out when it comes to Ukraine. And but only by getting Ukraine to concede to a loss, which is horrible. And I don't agree with that answer because Russia and Putin scare me. And I will say it very much that way is I don't like that Russia has taken land that's not theirs. And honestly, I don't think Russia and its posturing is something that I agree with. And they've taken land that's not theirs. They took the Crimean Peninsula. They've taken more of Ukraine's territory that I don't agree with. But the problem is there's no way that Ukraine is going to get any of that land back. And the problem is we are where we're at. And there's no good way to end this conflict other than to get Ukraine to concede. And you see the issue there. And all it's going to do is cost more lives of anybody else we throw into the conflict. There's no good exit strategy. Just like, as much as I'm going to say this, just like Afghanistan, there's no good exit strategy to the conflict. And this is a very sad nature of this conflict is there's no good exit strategy. And he's at least playing nice with Vladimir Putin in order to get the conflict to come to an end. And end the violence, end the fighting, and and come to a concession. And I don't agree with it, but the problem is at least a situation that I can agree with. The problem is there is no good answer, and ending a fight is better than nothing. So I kind of half agree with him on it. And when it comes to Israel, I support Israel. I, I I support the people of Israel. I support the free state of Israel. I support the Jewish people. However, I do not support Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm not a big fan of him. I'm not a big fan of his politics. However, there has to be a way for us to live in peace in that area of the world. And I look at that conflict as well, that like we were when we were in Iraq and Afghanistan during Operation Enduring Freedom. I don't think I think there's um, a lot of foreign fighters, a lot of foreign influencers that are coming into that area and are making the the Hamas and the Gazans look bad. And the problem is this is who the Israelis are actually fighting, and it's making them look bad. And the problem is there's not a good end to that fight either. And I don't think there's a way to stop the flight, because that I worked and I lived with the Iraqi army. Anytime we picked up a foreign fighter, most of the time they weren't Iraqis. They were from everywhere else in the world. So I don't think there's a good way to end that fight. And the problem is I fully believe the truth that we're getting is not the truth on the ground. And the problem is there's a lot of innocents that are being swept up in the violence in Israel, and I don't think there's not a good way to solve this as the outside world. And the problem is the only thing I can say is it needs to stop. We need to find a way to at least stop the bleeding. Excuse the phrase. We have to stop the hurt, and there has to be a solution there. And this is the nature of those. And I at least can support Mr. Trump on these. And I know a lot of people are against this Golden Dome program that he's proposing, he's pushing hard for. And I know that Mr. Putin and Russia are against Golden Dome, and they're saying, oh, this is going to be considered an act of aggression. I'm sorry, I'm not going to agree with you on this one, Mr. Putin. It's a defense program. It's not a violent program. It's designed to protect ourselves and protect our allies and protect the world. So guess what? Any program that's going to protect us from future weapons, I'm 100% for. This is money well spent, in my opinion. The idea of any sort of global weapons, global defense system that's going to stop more weapons, I'm all for. I think that protects us against future hypersonics and the non-ballistic trajectory weapons systems is money well spent. And if you want to get pissed off at us for this, fine, because theoretically this system has the ability to neutralize ballistic and hypersonic missiles around the world. Mm, congratulations, we took nukes off the table. Absolutely, we get away. We got to go away from the mad concept of warfare. Please, anything that gets rid of mad, please. Mutually mad, mutual. Those who don't know that word, mutually assured destruction. This is not a way to live. And if we can absolutely prevent the need or the want to continue the proliferation of nuclear weapons, absolutely. Because guess what? I have no desire to see the world end in a fireball. Thank you. But again, this is the world we're in. And again, I'm done. I don't believe we should be playing chicken anymore. And this is where we're at. So this is where him bringing people to the table may be the right way to go. So again, I'm going to applaud him on this. Again, I don't agree with him in a lot of ways. I don't agree with a lot of his belief on social programs. Again, I'm a strong believer in unionization. I do believe that I very much do believe in social programs, and I don't believe in, you know, I believe in letting the rich make money. But the problem is these uber rich people, I don't want to believe with them because they've become so out of touch. But again, I believe in letting people pursue. I think we took a wrong turn in about 1973, and if you don't know the discussion of 1943 to 1973 discussion, again, I can go into that further if you want to have talk about that, but please. Again, know that again, as always, I believe in again serving my constituents. I believe in serving the state of Georgia, and Again, hope to speak to you soon. Have a great day. And I love you all. I love all my shipmates and have a great day. Bye.